Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hammer Podcast. Today is September 20th, 2021, and I'm speaking with Antonio. Antonio went to the Agape boarding school from 2010 to 2012. We're going to have Douglas coming on in a little bit. He's got a few things that he's got to do first. But Antonio, the floor is yours. Go right ahead and start off from the beginning. It's all yours.
Alrighty, sounds good. So I guess the reason why I got sent to Agape back in the day was I was getting in trouble with just smoking pot and doing those party drugs back in that time. My mom found out, didn't like it obviously, and after that, yeah, my brother actually got sent to some boys ranch up in Utah first because he was on the same path and we were just following each other's footsteps.
Yeah.
So yeah, we he got sent first, and then I thought I was like, oh, I'm the baby, I'll never get sent away. Wrong. Yeah, they sent me there. So I remember being so fried off of
There he is.
ecstasy the night before. What's up, man?
Hey, how y'all doing? Sorry,
That's
car
okay.
stuff never goes as planned. So,
Yep. We know. Let me fix the thing here. Hold on. That's okay. Keep going, Antonio.
Oh, okay, my bad. So, no, anyways, I just remember I went on a little bender before, because she was like, hey, like, we sent your brother here. We're going to we're going to take you to a similar place, but it's going to be more, not like an extreme, because he went to one of those where it was also a rehab. But my mom thought, and I guess they sold it to her as like this was like a rehab, not a rehab, like a complete rehab, but like a rehabilitation center.
Right.
Through like Christ and all this like crazy stuff.
That's how they do it.
She showed me the emails once I got a little bit older and had kids. She showed me some of the emails that they were telling her when she was even thinking about doing this school. So anyways, I went on a bender, and then I agreed. I was like, okay, you know what? Like at a young age, I was like, I'm fucking up, and I wanted to be a police officer or in the military, and that's what I've wanted to do. So I was like, you know what? Let me not mess up. I already got in some trouble, got a few misdemeanors. So okay, cool, mom. Like, I'll go with you. So we fly. She's like, hey, the first one's in Missouri, then there's ones in Massachusetts, and like she had like this whole list, and she was like playing it, and like she got my attention. Some of those were nice schools, and even Agape. I mean, back then, like you're like, damn, they have a pool, a full basketball center. Like it looks pretty legit. Anyway, so I get sent there. We go there first, and then I didn't realize like some of the little details that she had a transporter there as well. She hired one, but she told them like, hey, like she didn't want to go through the whole thing she did with my brother, so she was just kind of like, hey, like, let's be low key. We took a little shitty car. It looked like she said the guy worked for the school, and he was telling me all about it, like hyping it up, and he was like, yeah, there's a girls' school. You guys live separate and all this. And I was like, okay, cool. So it'll be like, like I don't know if you guys remember that video game Bully. Like it's like the little private school.
Yes.
So that's kind of what I imagined it to be. So I was cool with it. We go in, and I'm looking at it, man, and I see the kids. Like I see these kids in the dining hall, like facing the wall, and I'm getting these weird vibes, and I'm just kind of like, hey, I don't think I want to go to this. So I started telling her like, hey, like let's just get out of here. Let's go to another state and let's check out another one. Like this one seems a little ghetto or whatever. And she's just like, okay, like let me use the bathroom. And that's when Jackson, Ryan, and I think it was Colton. I don't really remember for sure. It was a long time ago, and it just happened so quick. They come in, the transporter leaves, and then Jackson tells me, like, hey, get your shit, we're leaving. And I was like, who the fuck are you?
Did they put Did they put you in handcuffs?
No, I wasn't actually in handcuffs. I was in I was in one of those nice rooms with the big tables they had up front, and he closed the door behind him, and like my first instinct was to swing, so I swung at Jackson, and obviously missed, and yeah, they took me down. I shaved my head. They restrained me a little bit because like I was trying to text my mom and everything, and they weren't going to let it happen. So I got restrained a little bit, but it was I think they were like understaffed or something at the time because it was only Jackson. And then by the time I calmed down and just let it happen, I seen Lopez down there, and I was just like, hey, I ain't trying to get into it with this guy. So I just chilled out.
Mm.
And I went, obviously as a teenager, I was a little broken and fucked up and crying, and they just threw me in there. And the first thing they told me was like, "Hey, if you talk to anybody, we'll bring you back down here. We're gonna fuck you up." Um,
Yeah.
and that's the only thing they told me. Besides that, it was just kind of like, "Hey, like go figure it out." They gave me all my orange stuff, and they took me to the bay. Then I met my guide there, and we went up, and it was like just dinner time. So that's kind of how I got there, and the reason why I got sent there. Um,
So, fun fact, I think your first guide you said was Ryan. I don't want to say his last name, but it was Ryan, right?
honestly, I don't remember.
Because the guy you told me the other day when we were talking, because that was my first guide too, the Ryan M.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we actually had the same first guide. He got there a couple weeks before me.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so you guys were pretty much inseparable when you were there, or what?
We weren't like super close, but we never had a problem or nothing. We would talk, hang out here and there. We were friends, you could
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
I grew really fond of him. He was as soon as I talked to him, obviously we weren't supposed to talk, but when I first talked to him when he got there, he was having a rough time, and I
Oh,
kind of came
Mm.
up like, hey, like this shit sucks, like it's cool, we all have to deal with it, and I think after that he kind of looked at me like I was crazy, and after that he was just I've only been there for 2 weeks, so barely starting to adapt, and
Mhm.
he uh, he didn't really talk to me there for a while, and then
Took me a bit.
yeah, so it was a little bit later. We started like cracking jokes when we were grading our paces, and we'd both be at the table, same classes, and he'd crack a joke, I'd laugh, and then it was kind of like a slow starting friendship. We never like hit it off right away, but
right.
definitely over time. Now I definitely consider him a really good friend.
Yeah, when I first got there, I didn't really care about anybody or anything. I was just there
Uh-huh.
for my own reasons, and I didn't care to talk to anybody or nothing. But I wasn't
Yeah,
like go screw yourself or like fuck you kid or nothing like that either.
Yeah. Well,
no, yeah, he was.
even I mean, being there and seeing how it was, Douglas, you've been on the
Uh,
other podcast before. You kind of to yourself, you really don't know who you can trust, basically.
oh
You know.
yeah, especially coming from like more of a more paranoid environment where I was. I definitely took more time because especially like being where I'm from, there wasn't a lot of guys from New York there. So
No.
most of the people is from Texas or California. So as soon as they hear New York, they like try to test people a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
They
then
put
the people that were from New York there were trying to check you.
Yeah, there was always
Yeah.
being from New York there, they always put a little bit more pressure on you. So
Well,
yeah.
I guess they figured New York. You gotta be a tough guy.
Yeah.
Right.
It was funny there was a couple kids that would come that weren't tough guys and they would get picked they got kind of bullied on a lot.
Yeah. Usually you can just tell who the weak ones are and who the
Yeah.
strong ones are.
Yeah.
Sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes people bite off a little more than they can chew. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For sure.
So
But
catch me up real fast. So I'm assuming you just went through from proposal to go to getting there and buddy guy new status.
Yep.
That's
That's as
yeah,
that's all
far
you
as we
touched.
got so far.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So did you have
Yeah.
any? Did you have any run-ins? Do you have any run-ins with Brian?
So actually, no. So
Oh,
when
okay.
I got there, it was like I said, it was kind of short staffed. Um, his is it his man? Is it his son?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So his son
Steve.
came on. When his son first came, he was I didn't know at the time, um, but he was in some I guess like trouble or I don't know what was going on with that whole situation. Not my place to talk about it because I don't know all the facts, but he
Yeah.
was going through something and he came and you could tell when somebody comes in and they want to do their job. James, I know there's a lot of like mixed controversies with that, but like James, his brother, there's a few other staff, and believe it or not, Julio, he was actually a pretty cool guy at first, kind of a little fake, but you know what I mean. At first, I guess it made sense because I was Latino and from California. Um, but I mean, for the most part, like when someone comes in and I've seen a lot of staff come and go. When they're happy, go lucky and everything, they usually want to be there. And then there's also a lot of people that come because they have ties to that family, and they don't want to be there, but they know this is like the fallback. Like this is my safe zone. Like I can stay here, stack money, um,
Right.
for them, for their families.
Do
Obviously
what
not
I
just
gotta do.
anybody. So this guy came in. It was his son. I'm pretty sure it's his son, and he just fucking hated us. Just hated everybody, and just fucking. I remember hearing stories from my guide and saying like, "Yeah, Brian this, Brian that." But there was guys that have been doing fucking time there for 4 years before, and they're still there,
Yeah.
2 years, and they were telling me like, yeah, like Brian was a fucking
Hmm.
demon. Like he didn't give a fuck. Um, I never actually got to. I think I talked to him once or twice. He came for like Thanksgiving or something. Um, but you could definitely tell when they have, especially now being older, you could definitely tell the intentions people had then. And like we'll get into that
Yeah.
story because like this was kind of what like made me want to come on and talk, and bring all this stuff up was because some of the stuff I've been seeing and it's like they're facts. Like I mean, like
Yeah.
being in people's houses when they have a certain status, like that shit's not cool. And like yeah, like
Mm.
nothing happened, but still, if they knew that, like they're letting stuff like that. Are you guys familiar
Yeah.
with what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The whole
So
the brother was a rapist and was working there, and work crews were going to his house, and I mean I
yeah.
haven't heard anything of anybody anything happening, but just it's
Um.
crazy.
So from what I understand, Agape was actually his safety. I don't, without mentioning names, the staff member you're talking about, he was at one of the girls' schools, and that's where his problems were. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people will know who I'm saying when I say that. But we're not gonna say he actually was, because I don't know if there's any
Right.
proof behind that. I think there is,
There
but
is. They posted it on Facebook.
oh, on the group page. Okay, so
Yeah,
then I couldn't say it. So the guy had some rape charges with the girls' school and personal family. So,
Hmm.
yeah,
and to get him away from the girls' school, they brought him over to Agape for a while and let him work there.
yeah.
Instead
It
of
just
instead of calling the cops. Yeah. Okay.
well, it was one of the staff members' brothers, so it was.
Yeah.
Like looking back at it, man, like I never really had a lot of bad things to say. Like, yeah, I had a lot of shitty experiences, which I'm open to talk about. And where for the most part, I was always I like to think, a pretty likable guy. I didn't think any of these guys, any of the staff members, like actually had it out for me. I mean, they were shitty across the board, obviously. You get
The only
used to
people
it.
that had it out for you were the people that were concerned with schoolwork.
Yeah.
Well, that's how they are. Like you talk about Julio a few minutes ago, and that's what they do. They're real nice to you. They gain your trust, and then
Hmm.
as soon as you trust them, that's it.
Yep. Oh,
Man,
Julio
but
was
see,
great
but that's
in the
the thing.
beginning.
I don't know, man, because he was cool for me from the get, and like we did a lot of fucking. As I got older in the program, I turned 18 there, and I was used for a lot of those taking the visits where they would take the kids home for a short time once they were trusted and been there for so long. I'd go on a lot of those, and we did some pretty fucking wild shit. I mean, I don't care. The funniest one is we had one to Kansas City Airport. So that was a long one for us. We're driving. We drop the kid off. He gets us some food. Gets me like McDonald's, Starbucks, stuff like that. Cool stuff we don't get to have. And just out of nowhere, just rolls my. I'm like falling asleep. Rolls my window down. Just pulls a gun out of nowhere. Points it. He doesn't point it at me, but points it right up, literally right by my fucking face. And
Like
just
through the
shoots
window?
it. Huh?
Like through your side window?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like some
And-
shit he would
But
do.
like it was like weird, and it was like I was like, obviously then I was just kind of like, oh dude, this motherfucker's about to kill me. I'm 18, like I don't got to deal with this shit. Like fuck this. And I asked him, I was like, what'd you do that for? He was like, oh, I'm just showing you I'm cool. And I'm like, so it was like it's a little weird,
Cool.
but all right.
Yeah.
And he hands me
Dude
the
almost
gun.
blew your head off.
He hands me the gun, and then he's like, go ahead and shoot outside. So I did. And it was just, it was just one of those weird ones where like you're saying, maybe it was just all things for like, hey, like I'm cool, like
You can trust
know.
me. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So like,
I-
yeah, like talking about it now, like you could definitely like, I even now like I don't really like to think about like that time, but when I do. And I was actually just in New York. My girl was getting a tattoo out there. I hung out with Doug there for a little bit. But yeah, just talking to him just made me remember, this part of my life that I thought wasn't, I was just like, oh, it's not that bad. And me talking to him, just like, damn, like I think back at it now, and I'm like, I would never throw my fucking kids in something like that ever. Like,
Yeah. You know what it is you were dealing with when we talked. I told you the same thing straight up. It's a lot of us did this. Is they chose to we chose to repress our memories. A lot of us, not everybody, but a lot of people would just choose to like act like it never happened and just move on with our lives. And like somebody else starts bitching, be like, oh, like it wasn't that bad. You should have been there when I was there, or like you were just a little punk. Like it wasn't bad. But in reality, we were all dealing with our own stuff. We're missing out our own lives at home. We're hearing all our friends and family talk about how our own life is going on. And then you got like Tony, he was always pretty good there. Like he didn't have any serious problems. I was always a little bit I had one foot in, one foot out in certain areas. So it's like for us it wasn't so bad, but those people that really messed up their life. Like
Yeah.
they really struggle to this day with depression and like just their mindset, trusting.
PTSD,
Yeah.
like this. And I mean, like, what about those people? Like, I'm a firm believer in believe in what you want to believe in, but just don't push it on people.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have your own beliefs, and I'm not gonna judge you for it. Don't fucking judge me for my beliefs. And I feel like they've ruined a lot of people, their
Man.
like religious beliefs and stuff, because there's people that are like, and there's just I don't know. It just bothers me that
Speaking of that,
they were so
yeah.
fucking forceful with that. Like, remember, it was almost like it was forced. You remember people used to get saved like every fucking Wednesday and every Sunday,
Just
and
to
it
get
was just
stabbed
like,
off their
dude,
back.
I got saved like 6 times. Like,
Yeah.
dude, I was just fucking the Holy Ghost was in me or some shit. Like,
Yo, I'm doing
fuck.
that in school right now. Yo, let me go get saved. Get them off my
But
back.
It's kind of like it's like refreshing your browser. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You gotta refresh your saved status every now and then.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I remember there was one kid. I don't remember his name right now. Maybe you remember. But there was this kid when we first got there. He was already there for a while. Like he was. I think he might have been Burgundy already. And this guy, he comes from a Muslim family. I think he was from New York also. And he comes from a Muslim family and backing, and he wouldn't get saved for them. and staff would literally harass him every day. Like we would walk in the chapel, and they'd be like, "Oh, this is like I think it's like 10 years in hell or something like that." Each time they step
Yeah.
into like a Christian church, so they would make him go into church to chapel, and they would stand by the door until he would pass, and they'd be like, "Oh, here's another 10 years for you to go into your Muslim hell." And, like they would literally antagonize this guy every day. And so one day he's like, I remember I used to talk to the dude at the time. He was like, "Oh, I literally just did it so they would leave me alone. I got tired of them harassing me, in my faith."
Yeah.
Yeah, like I never had I think I'm Christian. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like I don't really know where I stand on it, but like I'd say I'm pretty like a loose Christian, if anything. I fucking there's things there that it's just being there just like kind of brainwashed me, and then you know how you do things so much that it just kind of sticks. So
Yeah.
like I still pray before every meal in my head,
Yeah.
stuff like that. I mean, I'm not saying like that's bad, but
You're
I believe
spiritual, but you're not religious. You're
right,
not into like their
exactly.
sanctum. You believe there's a God. I'm the same way. Especially being Hispanic background. There's always a big God factor in our countries and like the way we grow up. So it's like, yeah, same thing. You know.
Right.
But the way they were coming from, they had a Lester Roloff background. If you
Hmm.
weren't a Southern Baptist or believed how they believed,
You going to hell?
you're going to hell. Exactly. So no
Yeah.
matter if you were Muslim, Presbyterian, Catholic, it didn't matter. You were going
Yeah.
to hell if you weren't a Baptist.
Hmm.
That's how it works.
That's the
So
only way. That's
Yep.
the only way.
it's the only way.
You had to listen to them and believe in their fire and brimstone, not Jesus loves and came to save you. He came to
No.
save you from damnation and hell. That's
Look at
it.
him. He still remembers
Yeah.
the whole speech.
I mean, every night and some days 3 times. It's kind of hard to forget.
Yeah, it burns in your memory.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
the real burning.
right. It's like a favorite song. It burns in your memory,
Yeah.
and sometimes it just comes up, and you just start thinking about it. Same thing
Exactly.
with indoctrination. They pound that shit into your head so many times. When you leave there, you still find yourself doing that stuff, and pretty soon you
Oh
kind
man.
of break the habit. But some people don't. Some people
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah. I was
So
dying a little earlier because I'm by my brother's house right now. He's helping me with my car, and he lives in a small town, Pennsylvania. And the local church, they have one of those bells that ring. The bell is going out to the basically the beat of "Amazing Grace" and some other hymns. And in my head, I'm just singing. I'm like, man, I remember when we were in chapel and just.
one thing I wanted to ask, I just remembered when you guys had chapel, you would sing before the sermon, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Did they have a piano or a guitar or anything, or was it just a cappella? Do you
So
remember?
so for church services, it was everything. For chapels on regular days, it could be anything. It could be full on or like piano, everything, or it could just be straight a cappella.
Right,
Depends
but
on what staff's on duty and not.
right, but no drums. Drums were the devil.
No,
Yeah,
drums
those
are the
were the
Yeah,
devil.
devil.
yeah.
No
Okay.
Couldn't keep-
guitar, no drums. It's just a
I mean,
piano and your voice.
dude, think about it. Drums are like the whole fucking beat of music, no matter what kind of music. Drums are
Yep.
like the whole backbeat. And if you look at it, I'm sure everybody remembers that one old lady that would go there and just fucking terrible, offbeat. Fucking, dude, that shit still haunts me some days.
You talking about
I
the lady
have
that
my
used to
worst-
sing?
Dude, I have my worst nightmares.
Oh,
And then like I'm like doing some fucking like Rambo shit, and then I hear like I know I'm about to die because I hear her singing. I don't know what the fuck she's singing, but I still hear it. That's how fucking bad it was.
man, you know
what I'm
what's
talking
messed
about.
up? Is
You know
I know
what
what you're talking about, but the that was one of the staff members' wives, and I was just telling you the other day is I have a lot of respect for that guy. So it's funny because it's like that was his wife, but it's like at the same time like she really couldn't sing, but you don't want to be rude to.
Well, yeah, you didn't want to be rude because you're going to get your ass beat if you did.
right.
No.
That too.
Dude, I can't fucking. It's just funny now that I'm thinking about it. All these motherfuckers are got record labels with Agape Music. Remember that shit? Everybody was selling
Yeah,
CDs.
all those like the people that would come in. I completely forgot about that. So they would have people signed to an Agape record label, and like they would sing hymns and
Bro, this
stuff
shit's
on the
such a fucking
CDs.
cult.
Yeah, and they would sell them at church services like across Southern Baptist or whatever Baptist whatever church they would go to. Like they would just sell these Christian hymns all over the place, and it was all funded by Agape's record label.
Yeah,
Oh.
they had their own record label. It was sick. It
Hmm.
was sick.
Ah man, I
I'm
can't
sure a
believe
few
that.
of us could have made
Forgot
it.
that.
Anyways, I'll go back to. I know we got super off topic there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go back to. What was the last thing I said?
Oh
Oh, right. His son came onto staff, right? Was that where we were at?
yeah, Steve.
So he came onto staff. Just like I said, just had it out for everyone at first, and he you know, it's like he forgave me. I mean, I forgave him, and like we talked a little bit. And at that time, I was just kind of like, oh fuck, like, well, you got an Instagram? He hit me up, and I was just like, hey, like, I don't like there was a shitty time. He's like, I know, I've like fucking apologized. I can see you're a tattoo artist. He's just like, hey, you think you do this tattoo? I'll fly out to you. We could talk. And I was like, yeah. I was like, that's. I was just apprenticing then, so I was like, I can't do that. What you're asking for, and I was just like, even though like I could forgive you, but it doesn't mean I have to be cool with you, or we
Yeah.
don't have to be friends. I forgive what you did, but like don't try to be my fucking homeboy.
Forgive, don't forget.
He fucked with my boy Cody, and I love that kid. And I just
Yeah.
like I didn't realize how bad it fucked Cody up.
Yeah.
But it just I don't want to let that go. That's not. I don't think Cody has let that go either. So I
Dude,
don't think
remember
that.
how bad he was to him? He taped those gloves to his hands when he first got there.
Yeah, man. It was
Oh
that
man.
was and that was actually that's actually going in the timeline. Because Cody got there around that time. I'm not gonna speak too much on Cody. He's not here to put in on it, but it's going in the right time frame. So he got there, and man, this I never experienced bullying that fucking bad ever in my life, and just seeing how
Yeah.
at first when he got there, we are kind of like, hey man, like it's gonna be cool, and then he was just like mentally broken, and I started feeling like super bad because he was so young then, and that was gonna be the beginning of like his where he's supposed to start his good memories, in his life. That's when they start
Yeah.
when you're a preteen, and all his shit, man, is there, and it's like everybody, like nobody was, not one staff member that I knew was nice to that kid,
For a
even the
while at
nice
least.
ones.
Yeah. They would, they knew that he had real problems, and they would treat him like less of a human because of that. And it was messed up. A lot of the kids did it too. I'm sure like I probably said some messed up stuff to him here and there. And I've definitely talked to him, and me and him always had a good relationship, friendship too. But man, they used to really pick on that kid. Like I remember him getting thrown on the wall just for nothing, like things that he couldn't control about himself.
Yeah, them
Yeah.
fucking staff members not tapping him while he's standing there at attention, and just antagonizing the poor dude. And anyways, just this is my little piece on that. I don't want to, like I said, Cody's
Yeah.
not here, so I don't want to go too far into it. But just this,
Right.
Well,
that's when I started realizing, because you kind of get there, you're fucking shook.
and for the record, Cody came on here and told his own story too. So
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
yeah,
I didn't know. I just didn't, like
yeah,
I said, that's my friend, so I don't want to say something maybe he didn't want me to share. Just nothing too
yeah.
crazy. But um, that's when I started realizing a lot of them. You start talking to some of the staff, super cool with like Brad and, um, but like you start talking to them and you start realizing they're human too. They're not just these fucking Nazis that work there all day. They're human, And I've always had like a big heart, so I've always liked to see like the good in people, even like the really shitty people, or at least try to like. That's the way my brain works. Like I want to dissect. Like why are you so fucking? Why are you so mean? Why are you the way you are?
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
just I talk to everybody, and I don't think I ever had beef with anybody there because I was just always like really like mellow, really chill. Um, but a lot of those staff members, and now it's coming out, but a lot of them were forced. Like if you weren't being a dick and making a scene, you weren't doing your job. And
Yeah.
I mean, they're still wrong. Don't get me wrong; they're still wrong for doing it. But I mean, I hear the stories. I said I never worked there. I can't tell you like all that stuff that's going on with them legally, and how they threaten their families and all that. I can't speak on that. Wrong is wrong, and right is right. At the end of the day, you still chose that, whether it was for your family or not. There's a lot of shit I do for my kids. Like there's a lot of shit I do, um, but at the same time, like everybody has family. People might not have good family. You have friends. You have somebody you could reach out to get out of a fucking toxic environment if you need to, if you really want to. So at the end of the day, like I feel like if they're working there, they're just either scared or they know what they're doing and they're pieces of shit for it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
If anybody should know right from wrong, it should have been them.
Right.
Hmm.
They,
It's
they,
almost like having a cop trying to meet his quota. So like a lot of these staff members didn't want to have like be like assholes or jerks, but then they would have upper management coming like, oh, you're not giving out enough push-ups. It's almost like a cop. Oh, you're not giving out enough tickets. Now they
yeah.
got to go be petty over little things, and now students are starting to look at them funny. It's like, yo, why are you coming after me like this? Like I thought we were cool. Like I thought you were like, actually trying to help us, and it would strain a lot of like relationships that could have actually been beneficial for our adult lives now.
Right. Right. But and I've said it before, and you've been on the podcast when I've said it. They're just it's the money. It's what it is. It's all
Mm.
about the money.
And it ain't much.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah. Motherfuckers never had real jobs or something.
no. The only one that's getting the money is Brian's dad.
Yeah.
He's the
Big
one
Jim
make.
Beam.
He's the one making the money.
I
Yeah.
mean, even on that topic, like still going in the timeline, you know, there wasn't much. Like I said, there wasn't much. The riot happened. You were there for that.
Yeah, I was definitely there for that.
That was one of the times when I was kind of like, fuck it, let's run away, let's fucking rebel, let's revolt. I'm down. Um, and we all got fucked up for it really bad. But fast
I'll never
forward to
forget
that, I mean,
Jackson.
after that, I was like, dude, I'm just gonna get with the fucking program and just, try to figure it out. I mean, I got to be here
Yeah.
till I'm 18 because I didn't do shit. So I knew that. I was trying to like just cheat my way through the whole thing so I could just get out when I was 18. Unfortunately, it didn't happen like that. And I actually got, so we had one guy, his name was Tony, and he's a big boy out from Missouri, and he
I
had this
remember.
little thing going, and like I've never been good at school, hence why I'm a tattoo artist, you know. But this kid, he was just like I was, just fucking didn't give a fuck about school, didn't give a fuck, would be the best kid, but just didn't care about school, and we get in trouble for that. I think I reached out, like I said, I got cool with a few staff members, and I asked and I fucking like begged that I wanted to do this because it basically cut your. So I still got a regular high school diploma, but it got cut. My workload was this big, and it got cut this big, and I worked this much, and I did this much schoolwork,
Mhm.
and that was the deal. So I went with it. I finally got it, and I told them I would stay here past 18 if they gave me the deal. And then I thought they were hooking it up, but obviously they were like, "Fuck it, this fool's 18. We're gonna charge his mom more, and we're gonna keep him longer, and we're just gonna drag ass and get free labor." So this new guy came in. His name's Riley, I'm really, really close with him.
Real fast. So the kid we were talking about, Tony, he was in a vocational program for welding and like metal work and stuff like that. So this is
Okay.
what they offered him to keep him there, since they knew he lived right local. His dad would come to church services just to come see him extra, and all this. So they knew like when it was ready for him to leave, he could go at any time. So they kept him in the program basically by offering him a vocational degree in metalwork and welding and like like
Mm.
general maintenance and construction stuff.
Yeah, man. But looking
Yeah.
at it,
Anyway, yours is different, so you can.
oh yeah. So mine, I did. They were like, "Well, what do you want to do?" And I was like, "Shit, I don't fucking know. Carpentry, something." I was like, I always thought, like, "Hey, I'll work in the California Union. Can't beat it." Everybody that was in high school was talking about it, so I was like, just teach me carpentry. They make good money. I'll go to Cali, and that's what I'll do. And like I said earlier, when I was younger, I didn't want to get in trouble because I wanted to be a cop or in the military. When I was there, I was so fucking brainwashed that I didn't really care what I was gonna do. I just wanted to get something, life skills. But now that I look at it, that fucking shit's a joke because unless you're certified by that state and you take those fucking hard ass tests to get certified for even the simplest jobs, like
Mm-hmm.
those certs don't mean nothing. Those certs don't show nothing. They're
Yeah.
fake credits.
Yeah.
Never really helped. Even like the art, I'm glad I got into the army because they looked at my diploma and they were like, "Let me see your transcripts." So it's a diploma, it's a high school diploma, but they looked at the transcripts and they're like, we're not gonna do the transcripts because like they wrote them weird." So I looked at them. I wish I had a copy. I have a copy. I just moved into a new house. I wish I had the copy so I could. I'll send it to you, Doug, and I'll send it to you as well. But the way
Okay.
they wrote it out was such fucking like it was like algebra or pre. It was pre-algebra, algebra. Then it said geometry. It gave me the credits, but it said how much I completed was 0%. And then it was like the vocational stuff was huge, and it was like giving me half credits, half credits, half credits, half credits. So I had like a sheet just full of it. I don't know how they did it. I don't know if
So
Huh.
basically, this is what they did. So for him, they did this with a lot of people too. When they would want to keep them there, so that way they can keep making money off their parents and stuff, they would put them like they kind of did this with me. Instead of giving them real curriculum, like the basic needed math, English, science that you would need, they would just load you up with basically like what would be considered extracurricular stuff. And in the end, it will add up for enough credits to be graduated. But when you look at the transcript, it's like, I didn't do nothing.
yeah, the transcript's crazy. I'll when I'm done unpacking, I'll then I find it, I'll send it to you guys because I don't. And
Okay.
you probably have yours, Doug. Or yours is
I have
normal,
mines.
but my shit is
Kind of.
fucking wild.
It's
But
too
anyway,
bad. It's too bad they didn't have a tattoo program.
yeah, I would have been on TV shows and shit by now. Fuck. So, anyways,
Yeah.
continuing on, I get the vocational program, and they sent me with the guys they had for labor there. Some they're Christian dudes. They were cool dudes. They were solid. They just wanted to work there. None of them went to church there. They're like bikers for Christ. Like they're fucking.
Okay.
They look like
Yeah.
actual like they look badass. Like especially when I was young, I was like, damn, these are some Hell's Angels or whatever. Um, but they would do all the tile in the showers. They built the gyms. Like dude, they were building crazy shit. There was only like four of them. One of them was like Bob the Builder. Like that dude could fucking build anything.
You talking about
Um,
the little one that had like the full
literally
goatee?
Bob the
Yeah,
Builder. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
but
I remember him.
um, I worked with him for 2 weeks, and I guess they told him like, hey, like he doesn't show interest like how Tony did, and they just got this one guy, and they're like, we don't know what to do, yada yada, and I was just like, well, then if it doesn't work out, like I'll just join the military or whatever. Like I don't want to stay here past 18. They're like, well, we got this new guy. He's the ranch hand now. and he's only dealing with ranch stuff, very minimal school stuff. So I was like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. Ranch, fucking, throwing hay. We've done that a few times,
Mm-hmm.
fucking picking up rocks, moving them from point A to point B, back to point A, whatever. Like, fuck it, I'll do it. And so I meet this guy, Riley, and super quiet at first. And I'm obviously the way I am, I talk a lot. And just bugging him and bugging him. And I thought in my head, because when you first got there, it was a lot of unloading, a lot of cleaning the old barns and mapping stuff out and that kind of stuff. It was not like any like physical labor for like a good 3 months. And I for sure thought he was gonna tell me like, hey, like this guy's not working or whatever. And I was like, fuck it, I'm only 6 months out from my 18th birthday. I'll just go get my GED and just do whatever I need to do. And one day he finally opened up, and then he starts just talking, telling me like all these like things. Like, dude's a legit guy. Like, he is a legit guy. And he basically told me, he's like, hey, like, I'm gonna keep you on, and we're gonna get through this. Like, I've heard your life story. I've heard everything. Just, what I mean, just work hard and whatever. So this was the point where like I started moving away from the school and started getting into that vocational where I was essentially I was a fucking cowboy, fucking riding horses, checking fans. Like, Doug, tell them, like, how hard is it? Like, how often would a staff member let you ride like their little Kubota or their little ATVs? Like, it was super rare.
It was like almost impossible.
Right.
And Tony was very trusted after a while, like especially once he turned 18, because I know it was basically his choice to stay. So he
Yeah.
basically became almost like a full-on ranch hand for them for free. So he free on them. He got charged,
Yeah.
but he basically became almost like the number two when it came to like the horses and the ranches and like managing like some of the livestock and things. So, so it was like this staff member, and then there was Tony
Yeah,
for the
like
longest.
so, like I said, and at that point, I was already like, I'd go back because he would tell me stuff like, "Hey, like, don't like, I'm here for a job. Don't associate me with that." But I don't know. You were there a little bit longer than I was. Was it ever like? Was it always like? Was he always like low key?
So, especially like after you weren't around no more, he just stayed in his ranch environment. The only time he would come out of like that, like he wouldn't be in school. He would never be in school. I mean, he would only be around for like church services, wrestling camp, and
That's pretty
lunch
much it.
stuff and work crews.
Yeah.
But um, yeah, as a staff member, he was never a bad one. I can't think of any serious complaints I've ever heard about him. You know, everybody has staff members they just don't like, and there's always people that the staff member just don't like. So
Even even on the homies page, like I've never heard anything like
yeah,
no one's ever. They brought him up a few times, but that was about it. Like the dude was a good dude. He
yeah.
he told me when we first started, he's like, "Don't associate me with this. Like I'm this kind of person." And he did. He showed me when I was 17. He showed me like
True Christian kindness, if you want to
yeah,
put it like that. Like he
yeah,
definitely
like
was different.
dude would like take me to his house to have dinner and say we were working or for us back then, like Sonic was the shit. We'd go there like 4 times a fucking week. So like he was good. He'd
uh,
always take me like he'd go to roping things like he'd go roping doing rodeos in other states and I'd just tag along. Like it was 17, 18-year old just fucking tagging along fucking in the
I
real
remember I used
world.
to be so jealous.
But anyways, we get really close and we have a lot of good memories, good times. A lot of stuff was going on in the school that I was like unaware of because I didn't have to deal with it no more. Once I got my vocational program, and shit, half the time I'd hear it from him, and he'd be like, "Oh, you didn't know this," and I was like, "No." I just basically I'd go there, have my two meals, which would be breakfast and lunch, and sometimes dinner there at the school. I free the weekends, we free time, fucking just kicking it, or if not Saturdays, Sundays, where we're at some fucking rodeo or doing something all the time.
Yeah,
So I
dude, I
was like,
remember you didn't even shower with us all the time. Like you would like come back like at your own times.
it was definitely a sweet gig for the. Not a lot of people experienced it. I think maybe there's since I've been there, maybe like one,
A
two other
handful.
guys and it was like I said, it was super cool. But I always heard and I always saw a lot of things with that because if you look at it now, what's their biggest income? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You 2,000 fucking cows. You know what I mean? Like that's
Wow.
they got a lot of fucking income coming in from that program, and I did. I helped start it. I helped with a lot of it, and a lot of the boys did. A lot of the guys did. Doug did. I'd always pick him, and I'd be
Yeah.
like, hey, like you want to? He'd be like fucking pissed off on a Saturday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Monday through like Thursday, we were doing a lot of stuff out in the ranch, and I'd pick him because I knew like, hey, he needs a break. Like I like to think I like take people out and help them.
It was definitely like
But
when you're struggling, it was definitely like good. Like you definitely did it with me a couple times. Like, hey, we need some help with some hay bales or like mending some fences or something. You know, just pull out people here and there to tag along.
and it'd be the same shit every time. Like it'd be
Yeah.
we'd do the hard work and it'd suck, and then we'd come back the next day. We worked so hard that we were almost done with this 3 day, 4 day job. So he'd just buy us a bunch of food or cook out for us, and like we were just chilling out there, just
Yeah.
like it felt unreal.
Hmm.
I remember
Especially
one time we literally just we finished. There was like one he's like, oh, I don't know where it is, and he had to find like some fence that like some animal, some of the cows were sneaking out of here and there, and we found it within an hour, and then the rest of the day we were just riding around the whole property, just driving around, just checking fences, but we were just driving in circles.
yeah, but I actually so I was 18, 17 and 18 for that, and I, uh, I finally got the chance to go home, and like I was never like, don't get me like twisted. I was never like, I'm gonna do this. You know, did I think about it? Yeah, I think everybody does. Like, yo, like, I can go fucking,
Hmm.
go do this for the rest of my life. It's fucking hard work. Like,
Yeah.
it is a lot of hard work. And
Hmm.
I was just like, like I still have my dreams and shit. Like I'm gonna get my diploma and get out. Like not for a second did I ever like. I knew I made that decision like a long time ago that I was like, I'm not staying here. And they did. They asked me a lot of times, even when I was in the military. They'd be like, hey, like, would you consider coming back? And I turned 18, and I remember I was like, I want to go home and experience the fucking, California, and I'm older now, and I went back, and it's just like everybody. If you ever do like get locked up or do time, like everybody could relate to it. Like everything's different, but some people are doing the same shit, and it never changes. Even to this day, I go home and people are still doing the same shit.
Yeah.
So I started.
Hmm.
I went there for I think it was like 5 days, 4 days, and I went out there and I told my mom, I was like, hey, for my 18th birthday, I'm going to go get a tattoo. She's like, no, you're not. I was like, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. And so I did. I went and I got Philippians 4:13, which I was like, oh, that's a Bible verse, and it meant a lot to me. And then I got this Oakland tree. It's pretty shitty. I got it back in the day, but it was like, my hometown. So I was like, okay, cool. Like that's what I'll get. And I never got a tattoo, so I was like, hey, like I want to experience it. I'm 18. Yeah, I could do this. I didn't think it was gonna be a big deal. I was like never around anybody. I made a Facebook, made an Instagram, and somehow, some way, they found out through one of my social medias that I got a tattoo. So when I got back, that actually I came back. I was happy. I came back willingly. Um, and that's when I got the kind of the slap in the face of reality again, where it was kind of like these guys really don't give a fuck. They just, you know what I mean? They just wanted me back, and they didn't want me to fucking, like in a sense, experience, go out. Like it was a test, and I finally got out, and I failed. So everybody looked at me weird. So I got that vibe. I get there, I get told to get dressed into, I wore a white shirt underneath it because we had to wear white shirts underneath our polos. I wore it because I already knew. I was like, I don't want them to see it. And they told me, they're like, hey, just strip butt ass naked. And I was just like, what the fuck? I'm 18. Like, I don't need to strip butt ass naked. Like, okay, well, just take your shirt off. And I was like, for what? Like, you already checked me. I'm good. He was like, oh, we saw on Facebook that you got a tattoo. And I was just like, sick. I was like, okay, so you guys are stalking us too. Um, anyways, I get shamed for it there for a little bit, and um, I I don't remember. We went on with the day after that because I got there in the morning, and then for dinner, I get called into Jackson's office with Jackson, and at the time I was pretty cool with him, and he just starts going off at me, just cussing, like not giving a fuck, being loud, and just fucking telling me off, and I just remember like I like this dude that I was like I thought we were cool, like why are you doing this, like, and he put his hands on me, and at that point, like I never got into like little scuffles and shit, and that I could remember. I never like I never wanted to fight nobody. I never jumped nobody. That was just not my thing. Like that's fucked up. I mean, if there was a problem, whatever, we'd talk shit, and if you want to fucking, a lot of the times we fucking just wrestle, roll out the mats at night and wrestle. So that was, you know what I mean? Like that was like the right way to do it.
That was the fun way.
That was the fun way to
you
do
wouldn't
it
get
for
in
sure.
trouble.
Embarrass the fuck out of people. But he puts his hands on me and he's pushing me and he's yelling at me, and I'm just like, all right. So I fucking revert back to day one, and I just fucking swung at him. I hit him in the top of the head, and he just tackles me. And like this room is like soundproof, and like Cody actually told me, he's just like, all I see is this box because it's just a little window. He's like, I see you kicking back, him here. You guys are just talking. You guys get close. He's like, I see you hit, and then I see your legs go up. I see his legs go up. I see your legs. I see your hand hit the fucking glass, and we're just tussling in there. But that's when I got my wake up call, and I was just kind of like, damn, like this guy, like okay, like you say you care about somebody and all this, and then like just because they made and it's not even a fucking bad decision, it's a tattoo. Like he had a tattoo. A lot of the staffs had tattoos, so it's like I get it. Like I was in the program, you're not supposed to do it, but it never did say that. Like they never did tell me that. They never fucking briefed me that. Like it was never. There's like I knew it was wrong, but like I was like, fuck it, whatever. I'm 18. I'll do whatever I want. So that's kind of when I realized, like, hey, like, let me just go on with my ranch shit. And they were even threatening to just kick me out. And fucking Rich, I don't know if everybody knows him, but he was the main guy.
He was kind of like the one step in between the rest of the school and Jim, the owner. He was like the big program director, overseer of everything.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to him either, but fucking.
I heard he left because he had some of his own discrepancies. Like he didn't like how certain things were turning too. So I don't know how true this is, but this is what somebody told me. So take it with a grain of salt. But he had some of his own gripes with how things were turning out to be, and he went back to his home state, or somewhere else to be a church guy.
That dude was being a dick that night, and I was like, fuck it. That was one of the things that always get you a Greyhound to your town. So the fuck you, just call it. I was already pissed the fuck off, and I didn't give a fuck. There's no talking me down. And they're like, we're not going to get you a Greyhound. And I was just like, that's some fucking bullshit. Like, y'all give everybody else Greyhounds, all the shit I done for you guys. And they're just basically like threatening me, like, you can't use that against us, yada, yada, we could sue you. And I'm like thinking in my head, like, I'm still in the mindset of like, I'm not 18. I don't know what it is to be an adult, at that time.
And you know what
Because,
else is you turned 18. You chose to get a tattoo. You're a legal adult. You're a man. They can't. You're part of their program, but they can't put hands on you because as an 18-year-old adult,
Yeah,
they can't put hands on you.
that's assault.
You
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. And after that, like, I had a few staff that were like, oh, like, you want to put hands on staff and shit. And I told them every fucking time, like, I was already on that grind mode. That was where I was there for like 3 more months, and I got the fuck out. That was it. Like, I had that home visit, and I was gonna stretch it out a little bit longer because we had some events coming up, and Riley asked me for help, and him being a friend or whatever, I was like, yeah, like, I'll stay and I'll help you. I'll agree to it. It was gonna run into my 19th birthday, but I was like, fuck it. Like, I look like a fucking scrub, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of just like, I'm having fun. So I was like, whatever. But
But
then I was just straight
that
fucking,
kind
I
of
didn't even want to go to the ranch. I just fucking
yeah.
just sat there, did all my homework, did all my fucking packets, finished a lot. Took me about like 3 months because there's only so much you can actually like physically do to that curriculum. There's like a max, or if not, you were cheating.
Yeah. They would
Everybody
literally
fucking
limit you
cheats.
because there was people that would be called pace busters, and these are the guys that like go ham. And they got to a point where they literally said you can't do more than I think it's like 2 paces per subject a week, or you're cheating.
When it was earlier there, it was 5 paces a week.
Yeah.
Dudes would have 25 in a week, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they limited it to like 10. You couldn't have more than 2 of the same subject in a week.
Right. But I kept my head down. I did my thing. I got out. I came back. First thing I did was just party there for like 4 or 5 months. I then and then that's kind of when I started forgetting. I went exactly back to what I was doing.
Right.
The little party drugs and all that stupid shit.
Yeah.
And then I started seeing a lot of the guys on the Facebook start dying. A lot of the people that were there. A really good buddy of mine, Chet. Those are like, I don't like talking about like.
That one just gave me goosebumps because man, that one was so bad too.
And it wasn't like we were like super close either. It was like we had a few fucking good conversations. I'm in Colorado. He was from Denver, and I remember we talked about stupid shit like, oh, have you heard this song? That's when that weird movement of like techno rap was going around, like 303. And he's like, yeah, dude, I used to party with those guys, and just. I remember, the little conversations that you just bullshit with people, and you just remember those for a lifetime. Like, that one guy from Denver, he knew 303 and he partied with them, and I was in school with them.
I was always a little bit younger than y'all, you and Chet, but I remember he would have conversations and like, I didn't get along with everybody there, but Chet, like, he didn't like treat me weird or nothing like that, but he knew I was younger, so he would talk to me about things, and I don't really want to say what they were because some of them weren't the best subjects, but we definitely had some good conversations that I won't forget.
How to grow mushrooms out of an orange peel, toothpaste, in a fucking plastic bag.
He's one of the people that showed me how to do that when I tried to reproduce that a year later.
Dude, that shit gave me food poisoning. I didn't even get high.
Me too.
That shit, I didn't even get high. I was pissed.
And the nutmeg.
Oh my! That shit fucked me up. I thought I was gonna die.
Yo.
Who did we do that with?
I don't remember, but I remember there was somebody else that did it. Like that might have been I don't want to say his real name, but Way on Facebook.
Yeah.
But I remember there was somebody that did it on their own once, and it was bad. Like they got sick from it. Like.
So we got about a minute left. Antonio, how you doing now? You doing pretty good?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm like I was saying, I did 8 years in active duty Army. I deployed once out to Syria with 5th Special Forces. Came back. Decided to get out. Served my 8 years. Can't call me back if anything crazy happens. And now I just pursued tattooing about 2 years ago. Just graduated my apprenticeship, so I'm on walk-ins right now. Making pretty good money. Just bought my first house. 2 kids.
That's good.
Doing good, you know. Not doing too bad right now. So
Bro, that's awesome. You know, especially like you were saying, reflecting on the people that are no longer here that we know. You're doing awesome, man. Don't put that down on yourself
Yes,
either. Like,
yeah,
definitely.
I know we didn't really get into it, but as far as I totally like spaced that part out just because it was a lot. But basically, um, there was a lot of like things that happened. I don't know if like there's a lot of things that I know because of the position I was in. I don't know if we wanted to touch on that a lot. I know we're out of time, but maybe for a later podcast.
Sure.
I'll speak to you offline about it when we're done
Okay.
here. There was I didn't know how to really bring it up just because I didn't know if that's our place and talking numbers and you know what I mean, stuff like
Right.
that.
Okay. Yeah, we could talk. We could talk offline. I'm gonna go ahead and end the show, guys. You two stay on the line, okay? Don't
Okay.
hang up on me.
yeah,
All right. Well, I want to thank Antonio and Douglas for being here. Antonio, thank you, and thank you for your service as well. Very
Thank you
well
guys.
appreciated. For the Hammer Podcast, I'm Jason. You take care of yourself. Take care of each other. We'll see you in the next podcast. All right. Okay.